wins or anything that they, I don't know, loved about this week? Obviously, Sunday we had the big reveal. How are we all feeling? Do we all love the name?
I love it.
When I first saw it like 3 months ago, if I'm honest.
Sorry, my phone's like completely frozen. Can I just show you in a sec? Okay.
The big bus driver.
Yeah, sorry guys. I tried to like cancel the call, but it seems not to have. But it's stopping me get my best ticket up, and I've got like 2 stops to get it up. So I'll try and cancel it and be back to you in like ASAP.
Okie doke. I'm just going to mute you until then.
Okay, cheers.
Right.
Otherwise, we'll have the bus driver on tonight's match.
Have you seen how Camilla's face is frozen as well, bless her?
Yeah.
She looks really like scared.
There's public transport, like.
Right, go on, Josh. What was you saying when you first saw it?
Oh yeah, I didn't actually like it that much. I said to Adam, I was like, no, I'm not on board. But now, like, it's settled in. I love it. Yeah, I really think it's good.
Oh.
What's that you're on about? I missed that.
Just the brand in general, just the logo and stuff. It was
I wasn't keen on the palm tree at first, but it's grown on me.
Yeah, and me, I'm exactly the same.
So
yeah.
Is that like a pun, Rich?
It was. But yeah, I do. I like it now. I'm impressed, actually. Especially with that video. I didn't even like the music on that video at first, but I do now.
I think the logo goes with any picture as well. Like any picture, you can put it on.
Yeah, because has anyone seen the time lapse of the logo being made?
Yeah.
Everybody has. I think only like me, Adam, Richard, and you have, Josh.
It's like the never-ending time lapse. You can make a time lapse of the time lapse.
Yeah, it is pretty cool though. But then, yeah,
it is. If you've got Ryan showed it me with Rob on a call, and then we just sat there for like 7 minutes watching this video. Like,
wow, when we all first watched it, there was me, Richard, some of the US guys on the call, and Adam, and we got to the end of it, and they're like, "What do you think? How was it?" Blah blah blah. And we were all like, "Yeah, it looks really good." And then we got off the call, and I got a message from Adam going, "Mate, my screen froze. I don't even know what happened."
Like they were all watching a screen share, but for some reason my computer didn't screen share. So basically, I'm just watching their faces. I wanted to get excited and I couldn't. And I messaged Ryan and Lily after. I said, "Could you just send me that video again? Because it just didn't. I don't have a clue what just happened." But yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I'm impressed with it now.
Black palm tree. I prefer this bit in black.
Nah.
No, you prefer it in white.
That's on G. Sorry.
That's right. Got a few people running around today. I think the weather's so nice, we're not going to have as many on, but it's all right. Anyone else got anything else they want to kind of mention to start with? Any questions? Any wins? Anything at all? No?
I've got something really small. But I decided to. Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I decided to just do another page like campaign just to see how it would go because I haven't gotten many page likes in a while. And I watched Ali's video, and I just kind of repeated exactly what he did. And I checked this morning, and I was paying like a pence per page like. It was really cool.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't even do much, to be honest. It took me 2 minutes to do it, and it's not much of a win, but I thought it was quite interesting.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. Grant, did you go to speak at the same time as Tashi? You are right there, mate. We'll just unmute you.
I did, yeah. Sorry, but that was really interesting. No, it was just obviously I go away this weekend to Orlando, Florida, Miami, see some friends over there, and hopefully hit up some of you guys that are out there on the American side. And my wins really. I woke up this morning. I didn't add that was obviously inspired when we did the outside thing with the garden.
Mm.
And I woke up this morning, and within 5 hours of waking up, I had like 45 messages. So that was really fun to wake up to that. Like I haven't had that many messages in a morning ever at all the whole time I've been doing it. So that was really good. And everybody's been buzzing about the. I had somebody comment quite negative and put like roll in my eyes. And I put just something positive back and says, I'm sure we could help you in any way, get involved. And the way I responded, another guy messaged because, responding positively. He was like, I thought it was a scam at first, but because of the way you responded to that guy, I'm really buzzed to hear what the webinar's got to offer. So like, yeah, just a couple of fun wins like that really kind of made me smile. And then obviously the sun today was ridiculous. So that just made me feel even better as well. So. And checking in on you guys through Facebook, like my Instagram and my Facebook is starting to become so much more tight knit to what it used to be. So I'm seeing less, sorry for my language, less shit. And it's like gambling or, you know, stupid things that you've had to like or you've searched on your Google. I refine my Google searches now because I find that Facebook will come at me with everything I search on the internet. So if I'm searching flights, like all I see is flights and stuff like that. But yeah, I think that was Camilla who started that off really with the personalising the Facebook and Instagrams. I found that really, really useful as well. So yeah.
That's great. Have you got any kind of tips for anyone or anything that you've done differently to get so many kind of messages and so many people wanting to speak to you, do you think?
Yeah, I think definitely with my advertising, like I wasn't taking split testing as seriously as I should have done at the beginning, and it is the most vital way to do it. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, if you've got two things going on, let's say you got a puppy, another puppy, one good puppy, one naughty puppy, and the balance between each other when they're good, when they're bad, and it kind of keeps your scale so that you can check in and it's doing really well, your ad, and it'll put more money to the one that is doing better, obviously, or it'll separate the money between them. And before I was just doing like 3 or 4 different ads, and I don't know whether this helped or not, but I've done 2 main topics in one demographic, like say travel and sales, and then I've tried like chef, and then the other one was warehouse, and chefing flew compared to warehouse. It just seemed to work a lot better. And obviously that picture in your garden, do you know what I mean? I think that was quite catchy. And a lot of people commented on the night from 9 to 5 to 9 to 5, which is obviously something I want to eventually start doing or get some help off you guys to do. That'd be cool. Because it's kind of worked. I've been putting it in ads and a lot of people are commenting on it. Like, what do you mean 9 to 5? And I'm like, just, you know what I mean? Like your own time to yourself to sit in your garden or go and travel or go and see your nan, and the whole time be connected to your business and the community that you're with. But no, I can't really tell you what I did per se to get that many, but
okay. Well, it sounds really good though, mate, and I love that kind of on 9 to 5.
Yeah, 9 to 5 to 9 to 5.
How was that?
Hello.
Not me.
Oh no, I think it was Charisse. There we go.
Naughty Charisse.
You know what? I think definitely it was CEO movement. The other day it hyped me up so much, like, and gave me such a good, like at first the music, like you said, Rich, like I didn't like it at first, but then I tested my own music over the top of it, and I like that for an idea for an ad. But then when I saw the idea and the logo again, I thought, you know, that really works. And
yeah,
it's the 3 things we are, and I think that's what people are really responding to in my messages at the moment. The fact that in a workplace you've got people who want to be above you, people who want to be below you and not do anything. Everybody here wants to go into the same place and learn off those people who've done it. And in a workplace, I don't think I've ever got that. My ideas have been shunned. My passion and my charisma and my own mentality, trying to put it into the job and better it is always, no, that's not the way we do it. And
Yeah.
this community is nothing like that. Everybody is so excited and pumped up to see what, you know, people can bring to the table.
Yeah, no, that's great, mate. Let us know kind of how the rest of your ads are getting on as well, and kind of how you're responding to people's messages. I know Tom wants to do a mastermind at some point on how to respond to leads. So you guys might be able to have a mini mastermind and kind of collaborate some ideas and ways
That'd be really cool.
you're both using. So that'll be really cool. Something for everyone to look forward to as well.
I'm definitely up for collaborating in regards to sort of speaking to leads. I did a go live, when was it, over the weekend, and I realised that kind of a lot of the stuff that I've kind of learned through recruitment is actually quite relevant. And the go live that I did, I probably didn't really kind of explain it in the best way that I could, but I think there's probably quite a lot of tips that would actually help people and be really relevant, because obviously what sort of recruitment is about is sort of guiding people to the outcome that you kind of want, and sort of getting the information out of them in a really kind of structured way. So I'd be definitely up for getting involved in something like that and kind of giving my input in that.
Right then, guys, I think we have a mastermind on the way. Knock your heads together, get some on paper, and let me know.
Sounds good to me.
Right then, guys, for now, we recently got a copy of the Copywriter's Handbook. So I've had a quick browse through there and chosen chapter 5 to do today's mastermind on. If you are or you aren't kind of reading that, I think this would be quite a good mastermind anyway. Just to help you guys, it's a mastermind on kind of like preparing to write an ad and how to kind of write ads, but not necessarily the content of an ad. It'll all become clear. Right, I'm going to jump into a screen share of a Prezi, and then we'll go from there. If you've got any questions kind of throughout, just let me know. Pop them in the chat or jump out. Otherwise, we'll take questions at the end. Right then, guys, so you know I love these fancy presentations by now, so getting ready to write. So, do you want to just press the space bar in there? Right then, so when you are kind of getting ready to write your copy, there are some kind of like general questions that you need to kind of think about or ask yourself. And they might even be questions that you discuss on a mini mastermind. But the example of kind of some questions that it's almost like a criteria for your ad would be, what are the benefits of this opportunity? What are the benefits of your advert, and what are you offering? How or why is this ad or opportunity different from all of the rest? So why is somebody that's scrolling through Facebook going to look at your ad and your opportunity, and how are you going to kind of put that across them? How are you going to tell them that it's different from the rest? Who, what, when, where, and how, why, all the rest of them, the W's and the H. Kind of, who are you trying to attract? What are they going to get from it? When do you need them to kind of be available? Why? So why is it going to help them? What's it going to change in their life? So you really need to kind of get across to people what this opportunity is, and really kind of like how it's going to benefit their life. So the next kind of bullet point I've got there is, why do they want or need this in their life? So obviously kind of being on the inside, we all know that this opportunity can kind of help them get away from work. It can help them quit their job. It can bring kind of substantial income into the household, etc., etc. But they don't know that. So that's something you've always got to bear in mind, is your target audience. And something I want you guys to really kind of remember and keep at the front of your head whenever you're writing an ad is the ad is for your target audience. It is not for you. And I think that a lot of us can get caught up in how good an ad is on a marketer's sort of level. But again, the ad isn't for you. It isn't for me. It isn't for Camilla. It's not for Richard. The ad is for the person that you were when you saw that ad. That's exactly who the ad's for. So always bear that in mind whenever you're writing an ad. These are some of the questions that kind of like I ask myself, or I make sure that the points that are covered, that are all kind of within the Copywriter's Handbook, which are a great kind of checklist almost, just to go through and just be like, right, okay, I've done that. And yeah, it just really helps you kind of pinpoint where your ad is going and what information people need. Do you want to go next? Sorry guys, 1 minute. We've missed the first one. Just go all the way back to start on that. The blue bar. Just going back to the first one, guys. Give me a minute. I'll just press the... Yeah, that's it. There we go. So, also, always make sure that you've done your research. So, research gives you an edge on kind of your competitors, and the ways and the resources that you have in terms to kind of like research are, you can mini mastermind. There are like over 1,000 people within the community now, so absolutely leverage the community that we have at hand. Everybody has different ideas, everybody has different views and opinions on ads and how they work, and everybody's got a different database of kind of information, and we can all learn from each other, so do not take that for granted whatsoever. Read, watch and listen. So I've popped down there the Copywriter's Handbook, but really kind of any and all books will help you. An example I have for this is kind of, I don't know how many of you have read the 4-Hour Workweek, but that book kind of talks a lot about kind of time and how kind of getting more time back and doing, like, spending your time wisely essentially whilst you're working as well. So for instance, that book you could create an ad from that book all about time. And we all know that everyone wants more time to kind of do their own thing, to spend more time with family, to travel, etc. So it's not just books like the Copywriter's Handbook or kind of like Expert Secrets or the best Facebook ads that you need to be reading. Any books and all books, or kind of YouTube channels, everything will help you in one way or another. So just make sure that you are kind of like plugging in, you are reading, you are watching and listening really. And on the back of that, in terms of kind of the watch and listen, is tune in. So whatever your kind of target audience is, whoever you have thought, for instance, again, we're all from different backgrounds. So if you thought, I want to target teachers or I want to target nurses in the NHS, make sure that you're kind of like adding all the Facebook groups to do with the NHS, or you're kind of reading the right articles and the right newspapers. Because one little fact from one of those kind of news articles that says, I don't know, 43% of nurses are due to get a pay cut or something. That could be the title of your ad. That was literally completely made up. Do not use that in any case. But for instance, if you are kind of more tuned in to the information and the news around you in terms of your target audience, you can kind of target them better and you can attract them better and you can relate to them better as well. So yeah, absolutely. Another example is more retail stores than ever closing. So obviously everybody says the internet's taking over, the high street's kind of dying. Use that. Are you targeting people in retail? Are you targeting sales? Use that as a kind of headline or within your copy, and just start using that research to kind of give you that edge and help you get ahead of kind of the competition.
Yeah, can I add in there?
Yeah, go for it, mate.
Yeah, I think that comes back to being being like an authority figure. Like, people always want to know stuff that no one else knows. So if you're like writing things that everybody knows, it's not going to stop and draw anybody's attention. Whereas if you have like, people make like a career out of this on Twitter by being the first to news. It's like, not what you know, it's whoever's first. There's a quote, something like that. So if you can become an authority in this one, X% of people would like to travel more, or X% of people struggle with this problem traveling, if that's who you're targeting, when people see that and they've never seen it before, they're obviously going to stop and read it because they want to know. So your click-through rate will go up, and your reach will go up because people start to interact with your post. And even though you just said those numbers there, Lilybeth, I don't think they necessarily have to be 100% accurate.
Yeah.
You can sort of like bend the statistics to suit whatever you want to say. So I really like that style of targeting.
Yeah. I think, to be honest as well, I don't know if it's just me, but I don't really ever kind of follow up on a stat that I see. I just believe it. I'm just like, okay, that must be right. 43% of nurses are like about to lose their job. Like, I just kind of like believe it. So yeah, obviously don't be too crazy. Like, obviously 43% of nurses in the whole of the UK are not about to lose their job. But as Josh said, so long that you don't have to be exactly kind of accurate, but do your research, kind of understand the market, understand that there are cuts within the NHS, or there are kind of, well, what was it? The whole of Toys R Us just closed. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are like stupid amount of retail stores that are closing, more than they would have like before the internet. So yeah, I think the more you do your research and the more you know about your kind of target audience, the better response your ads will get. Moving on.
Okay, so you need to identify what your audience really want. So depending on what you've done for the 2 points previous, where it's like finding out what the target audience is. So you could be targeting, for example, people that are like currently looking for work, or have been in a job for 5+ years, because people don't normally stay in jobs that long anymore. A career is no longer for life. So if you're targeting that, they're looking for a new opportunity. So you would market this as an opportunity for them to potentially not leave that job, work this, and then just quit working altogether. Moving on to number 4, free webinars. You'll see them all the time through Facebook, and me and Lily and Adam, all three of us have been attending some of them recently, and we've been getting some crazy value out of them. So we say go, but be careful, because most of them are honeypots. And what I mean by that is they're obviously selling something, because they don't want to give anything away for free without a product at the end. Just like we don't. Our webinar, the aim of it is to get people in, to get them affiliated, just like most of us here have or will be. So just be careful that you don't get honeypotted and fall into a trap of, oh, if you, like for one example is we attended one, and at the end he made the like statement that if he can't get us hundreds of leads in the next like month or something with a copy that he helps us write, then he'll pay us £7,000 or something stupid like that. So you're like, oh, £7,000, I'm up anyway. I could just say it's not worked for me, but it seems really great, but there's a catch. So you just need to be careful of those catches if you're going to attend any of these.
By kind of like 3 webinars, the ones we're kind of meaning to talk about are webinars so there's ones that are like marketing agencies that obviously trying to promote their agency to get you to kind of use them to send out your ads, but their webinars usually have quite good value. Like recently there's been a lot of kind of talk around putting borders around your pictures, putting kind of colours across your pictures to create like a half picture. More and more people are putting like text across their photos again. So they're a great kind of research tool in terms of just kind of learning what everybody else in the market are doing. And again, it's a type of research that, yeah, you can get by just kind of like looking through Facebook and thinking, oh, a lot of people seem to be doing that. But yeah, just kind of attending those webinars, you can get that little bit of extra information, come away from there, don't have to sign up to everything. But yeah, just that whole kind of like beware, don't fall into the trap of buying off them.
Yeah, I think as well, can I just add in there with the other webinars, I found that really useful when I first started to run like whole campaigns rather than just adverts, which is something we'll talk about in another webinar. But you can look at like their entire strategy, because you'll find that their advert will connect to their landing page, which will connect to their webinar. So if you can go in, and it's obviously free, you can see what's working, and you can also see what you change with your advert. Because I used to write adverts of what I thought would work, and then obviously through trial and error, if you can balance it with the landing page so you're directing the right traffic, you'll find that like leads will come through at a higher rate and there'll be better leads. So think about how you message in your advert. I'm sure you're going to go on to talk about this, it's a different topic, but think about how your message balances with your webinar, and you'll find that through watching other people's webinars.
Yeah, absolutely. To be honest, Josh, it wasn't something I was going to mention today, because I've just completely lose my head, but it is something that I mention in the 30-day fast track group. What I'll do is I'll quickly discuss it now, because obviously a lot of you guys aren't in that now. But basically, my best advice for you from going to like and attending all of these kind of extra free webinars is, if you haven't already, click on your own website, put your name and your email address in and check it out. You need to know exactly what type of language is used on there, whether it says masterclass, whether it says webinar, whether it says, I don't know, come and watch my game show. You don't know what's on there if you haven't looked at it. Like, make sure you're checking that out. Go through to your landing page, go through to the webinar page, and just make sure that all the language you're using, if every page within your website says webinar and then your ad says masterclass, someone's going to think they're attending a masterclass, then see that they're attending a webinar, get completely confused because who are they to know the difference or whether they're the same, and it might even put them off. So you need to kind of have a look through your website and make sure that everything is kind of congruent and makes complete sense all the way throughout. Something I definitely recommend, and if you do have any kind of, Rich and Adam and Ryan are about to hate me, but if you do have any kind of questions about what's used on your kind of landing page, on your thank you page, just pop your kind of funnel owner, Richard, me, Adam, Ryan, a message, and if you want a few tweaks doing, maybe that's something they can find some time to set aside with you to make those changes. I would say for now, just hold off a little bit, because obviously we are having some new funnels sent out for CEO. So as soon as those kind of come into play, if you've got any kind of specific wording that you want, or if you want a little bit more of you in the kind of website, maybe drop a message, see if you guys can arrange some time together to do that. Sorry, funnel owners.
Just to add to what Lily said, from what I saw in the mastermind on Sunday, the new funnels do look very apt to what we do and what we advertise anyway. So it may be that this congruency throughout your landing page and your ads will be there natively anyway. So I'd probably definitely wait for the new funnel to drop.
Right then, guys. So, do you mind just making those faces smaller so that we can see on the record? There we go. Right then, guys. So, adverts. So, in with your research that you're doing, before you even think about writing an ad, my first question to you is, do you save Facebook ads that catch your eye? If you don't, you're crazy. Basically, if something's catching your eye and you're already in CEO, you're already in this opportunity, and something is still making you stop and think, you need to save that ad, because there's a reason that you've stopped on that. There's a reason that it's caught your eye. And you can just see up here my top yellow arrow. I think you can see my little mouse waddling around there. If you don't know how to save your ads, there's 3 dots at the top of any sponsored ad. And then the first option is save video. So that's how you save them. And then once they're saved, on your side menu or kind of on mobile app where that appears on the 3 lines, there's an area called saved. And that's how you can view all of your saved posts, ads, videos, anything that you're meaning to watch that you maybe never do. So my next two questions to you are, do you ever look at them again? I can be guilty of this. Sometimes I'll save a whole bunch of posts, and then at one point I'll think, oh God, I haven't looked at like 10 posts that I saved. So if you're saving them, make sure you go back and look at them and just review them. You should definitely take a look at them. Again, they caught your eye for a reason. And what was that reason? The picture just to the side here, this ad actually, on the other side of the ad, it's basically the picture's cut in half. One side is a block of green with all that writing on. Then the other side is just a picture of a girl. And for me, I saved the ad. This is an ad I personally saved. I saved it because the block and how the picture was split up really, really caught my eye. And since that, it's something me and Tom have been trying to kind of implement into ad pictures, putting like blocks of colour in, etc. So when you've saved them, look at them again and just review them. Why is it that ad has caught your eye? And how can you implement that into your ad? At the bottom, we've got Adam from the US. His ad caught my eye the other day. So again, that was in my save posts. And for me, really strangely, normally I get caught by the headline or the image. And this time I was actually caught by Adam's kind of call out, the start of his kind of copy. And that was calling all people of Wanderlust. And then the fact that he's kind of targeting the US, Canada and the UK caught my attention as well, because I was like, oh, this guy's looking to get everyone. What is this? So again, kind of that caught my eye. Why did it catch my eye? Maybe it was the emojis, maybe it was the flags because I like traveling. And just again, kind of noticing what it is that made you stop and take note of that ad. And my advice as well is also that if it's an ad from the CEO community, pop them a message and maybe ask them kind of how that ad performed for them. As I say, kind of, we're all one community, we're all here to share information together. And yeah, that ad might catch your eye, but again, we're not targeting for us, we're targeting for our target audience. So the ad caught my eye, but did it catch the people's attention that Adam was actually looking for? I haven't had that conversation with him, so I can't give you the answer. But it's definitely worth, if you guys are saving someone's ads quite often, Adam's ad, Adam from the UK, ads, Mr. Gately, are ones that I quite often save and I'm always kind of keeping an eye out for. So again, I'm like, okay, how did that ad work, mate? And he's like, oh, it's done really well, or do you know what, it's not done too well this time. And just kind of like checking in with people. And what it will do is it will help you with your ads, it will help you with your targeting, it will help you kind of realise what is actually working in the field and what isn't. So that was my kind of bit on your research regarding ads. So if you don't save them, make sure that you start saving them. Very good tool to use. And then just click through from it. Right then. So what is your objective? So again, this is all pretty much like before you even start writing your ad. Your research needs to be done. You need to ask yourself those questions. Who are you targeting? What are they looking for? How is this going to catch their attention? But you also need to determine your objective. So who do you want to look at your ad? How do you want them to feel when looking at your ad? Do you want them to feel excited and happy? Do you want them to feel like, oh God, I want to get out of work, and a little bit glum and down? Do you want, like, what emotion do you want attached to that ad? And then what are the next steps you want them to take? Like at the end of most of our ads, we say, look, pop your name and email in, or pop me a message, comment more info, etc., etc., etc. So just make sure that you're putting those kind of, those triggers in for people, that people that are looking at your ad know exactly what they need to do next. Because again, they haven't seen your ad before, they're not in this community, they don't know what kind of happens. So you need to almost like hold their hand through that and tell them exactly the next steps they need to take. And then what happens when they take those steps? So put your email in, put your name in, and then you'll join an amazing community of more than 1,000 people. Or as soon as you sign up, this is what you'll join. Watch our webinar, etc., etc. And how will it impact their life and their future? And that might be your opening line. That might be, I don't know, do you want to sit on a beach somewhere? And just figure out how kind of like direct or indirect you want to be. Do you literally want to tell them like, look, put your name, put your email in, and just kind of really determine exactly what you want them to do from the ad and kind of the direction you want them to go in. Anyone got any input on that?
Yeah, I see it as when I start to write an ad, I like imagine myself sitting where they're going to be sitting when they read the ad, because I think a lot of mistakes are made when you write an advert on laptop. Is that me? Is that my interference? I don't know what that knows. Sorry. If you write an ad on a laptop and then publish it onto mobile as well, you've got to remember that it looks completely different. It feels completely different. Scrolling on a phone compared to a laptop is like two polar different things. And people who use laptops will typically be a different demographic to phones. If they're on Facebook, normally they're already working in the industry. Well, that's, yeah. So if you're on mobile, you've got to think like, what's going to make them stop? Secondly, what emotional mindset do you think they'll be in? So if you're writing an advert targeting people that have just got up on a Monday, they're likely to be like really sad or demotivated. So they probably won't read your advert if it doesn't match their emotional state. So if you do an advert like, isn't life amazing? You're probably going to annoy them more than inspire them. So try and imagine that you're sat exactly where they are reading that. And if you can get into your advert, that emotional journey all the way up until sign-in of how you think it would feel. Because remember, it happened to you. When you send your adverts out to like-minded people, it's going to resonate with them. So always think about the emotions. Like, the more I learn about copywriting and advertising and marketing, it's nearly always to do with emotions and how you can steer people down the pathway that you want them to go on. So that would be my input.
Hey, Josh.
Yeah. Is that right?
Yeah, it is. Sneaking onto the UK Mastermind. How you doing, everyone?
Yeah,
can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
I'm in a bit of an echoey place. I just wanted to add to that. Completely agree with you. And think about when...
Let me know how things.
Sorry,
no worries. Someone's on the coaching call. Cool. So yeah, always think about when you scroll Facebook yourself, when you actually have a look and save adverts, right? And usually for me, it's between, like, after I have my dinner, between doing something else, right? And that's when you're scrolling. That's when you're free scrolling. And for most people, I would say it's before they go to bed. They spend like an hour and a half, like that time when they're scrolling, and then they're wondering like, what the hell am I actually doing? And you hit the nail on the head there, Josh. People have an emotional attachment to adverts, to things. People are sold through emotion, and they back it up with logic. So the emotion gets people to like a webinar or to a thank you page, right? And the way to get someone emotionally attached is to actually think about your advert, think about your target audience, and your target audience or your avatar should be something similar to yourself every single time. So Josh, I'm sure you have your personal avatar, the kind of person that you are attracting to you. I have that person for me, and each person has an individual avatar. So speak as if you're speaking to yourself, going to bed at like 12 midnight, right? And what would you like to listen to? What not listen to? What would you like to read? What would you actually want to scroll and click more info on? So Josh, what's your specific avatar, would you say?
I typically will target people that listen to gurus but feel that they don't have anywhere to put all of that energy. So I literally, before I found CEO, was like so motivated. I was like doing personal development, not to the level I am now, but I knew that I had somewhere I could put all of this energy that I give, and I couldn't find it without it being ridiculous or literally me having to think of my own company. So that's why as soon as I saw the advert that was written in that style, it sort of was on that line. So that's why I target that now, and people come through, and it is a little, probably it's more expensive than my other adverts, but when the people come through, they sound exactly like I sounded, 6 months ago. So that shows that my targeting and storytelling is on point, really. So I recommend just trying to remember what you were like when you literally first started, or if you just started, document exactly how you feel and what you're into, your interests, because 6 months from now, when you're further down the ranks, you'll want to be able to remember where you came from.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And Josh, I don't know if you know this, but I'm actually out obviously in Vietnam right now, and I've seen your advert because you're targeting expats in Vietnam, aren't you?
Yeah, expats, Vietnam, Thailand, Southeast Asia.
And that's your avatar, people who have been teachers, people who are expats that enjoy the expat life, expatriate life, and those are people who have a really nice lifestyle for a certain amount of years. They're really well paid for really low hours. They get to chill in the sun, right? And then at some point, they end up going back to the UK or going back to Europe, and they can't carry on living that lifestyle. And the way you wrote your copy actually emotionally hooks people, because you were like, this is the position I was in, and this is the position I'm in now. And you actually give a timeline as well. You say, like, if you talk about sticking out something between 6 months and a year, right, to learn a system and learn a technique. And that is the amount of time that it usually takes people to transition from the country they're in to being an expat, so that they kind of understand that already. So that's why you've got so much engagement on that ad already. And maybe it costs you, I don't know how much a lead, but I imagine up to £1 more per lead to target expats, but the quality of the lead coming through is so much higher because it's your specific avatar, and the people you're going to be speaking to, connecting with, are going to be exactly the same as you and have the mindset you had before you actually made that transition. So people can connect to you. But yeah, I've been keeping an eye on your ads, mate. I see them popping up.
Yeah, that's pretty much that advert. I've done it, like split tested it a few times, but that is literally just the story of exactly what has happened to me in the last 6 months. So it's not like I had to really think outside the box. I just put down on paper, and you've obviously seen the copy. I actually wrote the advert as if I was just chatting to someone. It uses so much slang. It's not like, if you saw it, you wouldn't see it in a copywriter's handbook sort of thing, but it works because the people reading it are just like me, sat where I was. So find your voice, which will come through it. That will come with practice and running adverts, getting reviews. And once you have your voice and you match it with your avatar, the leads will come, and then they're not going to stop. So definitely just practice, trial and error, and split test.
Yeah, definitely, Josh. And you kind of saying that you just sat and you thought about kind of yourself and how you were feeling and what you would have wanted to hear at that time, and now using that as an advert, that just proves that kind of using, like, targeting your ad to the person that's reading it, not the marketer that you are now, is a better way for the person to receive it. Because otherwise you're just writing in, like, yeah, your ad will look great from a marketer's point of view and a professional's point of view, but is that going to get you leads? Is that going to get you sign-ups? Is that going to draw people to this incredible opportunity that we've got? Perhaps not. So definitely just always bear in mind kind of that person that you're targeting. I also just wanted to touch on something else that Josh said in terms of considering that majority of people that see your ad will see it on mobile. And it's something that Ryan, Nate and Rob kind of spoke about on Sunday's Mastermind as well, is that kind of the new funnels, the new websites are geared towards mobile before they are like laptops and desktops. And that's because when you're running ads, you'll see that kind of all of your traffic will come from mobile. So when you're writing an ad, something that I know Tom does is he will kind of copy and paste his ad copy into a
text-to-speech app.
No, not that. When like you write a status on Facebook, he'll copy and paste it into like the status, and he'll just scroll to see how long it actually is. And if he can't be bothered to get to the bottom when it's his own ad, whoever else is reading it isn't going to be bothered to get to the bottom. So just bear in mind kind of the length of your ads as well. And if they are long, just make them engaging, make them kind of filled with emotion, make them keep the reader's attention as much as you can.
I sometimes look for trigger words as well on Google. If you just like look for synonyms of an emotion you're trying to create, and you can go down Google rabbit holes where you'll find research on words that actually elicit more emotion than others. And I can pop this in the group, but there's basically like people do research on this. They say the same sentences with one variation of words, so it's a split test. And if you can get those words in your adverts that make people stop, generate more emotion, and can build trust at the same time, then you're just like halving your workload. And that is a bit more effort because some of the words don't really make sense when you first read them, so you have to reword the entire sentence. But if you can start there, find these emotive language and test them which work with your audience, your click-through rate's going to go way up. People actually stop and read. And this goes back to, Lily, when you were talking about saving adverts. Mm-hmm. Me and Adam talk all the time about this same style of advert. We always stop, and it's a sports one. I say it on the Mastermind most weeks, but the content is dreadful. But the style of their headline writing is it just makes me tick every time.
It's the hook, isn't it, Josh?
Yeah. Like, and these adverts, Adam, they're literally like they're honestly garbage. They've got no content, no value. But every time I'm scrolling, I stop, and this is on desktop as well. This isn't on phone. And I stop and I'm like, oh, this is cool. And I started using that in my adverts, and the click-through rate's gone up like between 3 to 4% just from changing it to that style. Mix that with the emotive language, and you're going to be having click-through rates of like 8 to 10%, which is like incredible for Facebook, which is
that's the thing, Josh. On them adverts, the headline is a massive hook. Like, I can't think of one off the top of my head, but the thing is with us, if we get a massive hook as a headline, our content in our ad is going to be an even bigger hook. Whereas the content in the ads that me and Josh are talking about, they are really rubbish, and just they say something like this, the sort of football related adverts. Yeah. They say something like, what happened in this game will give you goosebumps. And that makes us stop and read it. But when we get into the content, literally, I don't know, someone's just scored a stupid goal. It's not like dramatic news at one bit. It happens every day of the week. But yeah, I agree. And our content should be, once we've got people in off the headline and the hook, if we can just hold them till the rest of the ad, then that will get a lead for us.
Yeah, you've got to remember, like, I forgot this after doing research for like 6 to 12 weeks of being in Agic and stuff, that you are sending adverts to other humans. You're not sending adverts. Is that who needs muting?
I've done it.
Thank you. You are sending adverts to other humans, and it's so easy to forget this when you start split testing. You're looking for all these different variables. You're trying to find leads. It's really easy to forget that on the other end of that phone, where your advert's going to, when it goes through the ether, is another human. And I forgot that for so long. I was writing adverts like a robot, like hook, da. And while that's good, you've got to remember that humans look for emotion, and they like want to feel important. They want to be cared about. So if you can cater for that in copy or in a video advert, just an idea.
Just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely right. And goes back to kind of what I said on the previous slides, is the adverts aren't for you. They're not for other marketers a lot of the time. You're not targeting other marketing companies or anything like that a lot of the time. So you need to remember the person you're targeting, what they're interested in, and what their likes and dislikes are, and why they would click on your ad. So always have that person at the forefront of your mind. After kind of you've done your research, you've asked yourself those questions, you've thought about kind of everything that you want to kind of put into your ad, the best thing to do, or to do throughout, is just to get organised. So is all your research in one place? Make sure that all the ads that you've reviewed are still saved so that you can kind of go back and have a look over those. And that list of questions that you prepared, just kind of, if you've already started writing your ad copy, just go through your ad copy and make sure that all those questions, you've kind of tick them off. Literally, have I told them where to go next? Yes, tick. If your information is all over the place, it can make you confused, it's messy, it's going to kind of put you in a completely different mind frame, and you're going to get stressed out when writing ads. So if it is kind of all over the place, just spend some time organising your thoughts, organising your information, and then get ready to write. But I've got one more thing for you, and that's an 8-step process to kind of writing your ad. So step 1, identify the problem. So by that I mean kind of what is it that your target audience want to get away from, or they want more of. So for instance, I'm going to go with the NHS again. Don't know why, because I've never worked in the NHS, but are you sick of coming home covered in somebody else's sick or pee or something? That's the problem. They're coming home in somebody else's germs, and you know what, they actually just want to spend more time with their family and their friends. So identify what the problem is within your target audience. If they're teachers, it could be something like, are you sick of how much a holiday costs in the summer holidays because you're unable to holiday any other time of the year? So literally just like really kind of pin down exactly what your target audience are struggling with, or any problems they might have, and then get all the facts together. So like me and Josh kind of said earlier on, and kind of Mary Tong said previously, Mike said, people like facts, and whether they are 100% correct, whether you got them off the Daily Mail instead of the Guardian or whatever the right sources for facts, it doesn't particularly matter, but a fact and a statistic will kind of make your ad more oh god, sorry, completely lost my train of thought, will make your ad more desirable, and people will be more likely to click it. General knowledge. So I said earlier about kind of joining Facebook groups, about being in the know and listening and watching and learning about your target audience. And the more you know, whether it is like Josh is targeting his avatar, he's targeting what he's experienced. So Josh already has that kind of general knowledge. He doesn't have to learn it. And if anybody messages him and they're like, do you know what, I am sick of working kind of 6 months at really low pay, but I do love being out in Thailand, he can then go, do you know what, I felt the same. This is an opportunity that blah, 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 blah. And you can relate to people on a completely different level that's away from business, that's personal. And as we've discussed on previous masterminds, like people connect with people more than they do kind of information and random ads. So the more that you can connect to someone on a personal level, the more you kind of know about what they're experiencing, or kind of just make that personal connection, like the more likely they are to kind of join you, this community, and kind of start their own business. Number 4, we've got sleep on it. So if you've been kind of really cracking down some ads and you're really focused on rewriting a whole new ad, but I don't know, for whatever reason, you might have got a little bit stressed about it, you might not be sure about it, just have a sleep on it, and like wake up the next morning with a fresh mind, and just see how you feel about it then. Make any changes that you need to make and go from there. Also, as I said earlier about the questions, making them a checklist. Give yourself a few kind of bullet points, what you want to achieve with the ad, and what you can do then is once the ad's written, you can just kind of have a read through it and just check off kind of whether you've achieved what you wanted to. And it will be a great kind of motivational tool to keep you going as well, because you'll be like, oh, okay, I've already done that part, and you can just tick them off as you go. Get feedback. So whether this is kind of before you run the ad or after, it could be after, and the feedback you get is kind of the statistics that come through Facebook, which is great. You could kind of send your ad to your coach and just get them to review it for you. And then they can review it, tell you what they think's good, tell you what they think could be improved. And great, kind of you can make those changes before that ad goes live, and then you know that kind of that's the best version of that ad that you can come up with. And on number 7, we've got team up. So we say it all the time. Mini masterminds are an absolute godsend. On these ones, we tend to deliver you a lot of content these days, and mini masterminds just enable you to share ideas with people and literally just kind of hash things out. Everybody has a different kind of wealth of knowledge. So again, kind of use that to your advantage. And then number 8, we've got give new ideas a chance. So within the Copywriter's Handbook, they explain give new ideas a chance by saying that the creative process, when you're in that mindset where you're kind of freely kind of writing ads or writing words down on a piece of paper or sentences, and you're kind of cutting bits of ads that you like, and you're kind of really in the zone putting things together, don't overanalyze it yet. Put all your ideas down on paper, and then after you've done that, after you've completely exhausted every kind of possible phrase or headline or anything that comes to your mind, then go back and edit it, then kind of put it in an order and figure it out. But when you're being creative, just allow yourself to be completely free and creative, because as soon as you start kind of like self-criticizing what's coming onto the page, or you try and edit and create at the same time, your brain will automatically kind of start shutting down, and it will just be like, oh, I don't know, or let's just leave it, and it will just completely freak out because it's trying to like be creative and you're almost stopping it. So give yourself the freedom to be completely creative. I know Adam does this quite well. He just kind of gives himself a blank sheet of paper and writes down whatever comes to his mind, and then he'll go back and kind of put it all in some kind of order. But allow yourself that freedom, allow yourself that time to do that. But yeah, definitely this is kind of the 8-step process that is within the Copywriter's Handbook, which I think would be great if you guys can follow. Adam, Josh, I'm not sure if Ryan is still with us. Anybody got any tips or tricks?
Yeah, I love what you said about, I'm not even sure where it is on that checklist. Where you just, it's number 8, it's just worded differently. Yeah. With like when you start stopping yourself and thinking, oh, will this look good in like the first 10 words, or oh, is this the right message? Before you know it, you're just going to have a page of like 30% finished adverts that have no emotion and no meaning. So definitely just sit wherever you are. I sometimes do this on paper and just start writing. You could write for like 20 minutes, an hour, do it on your phone. Whenever you've in that mindset, in that emotional state that you're targeting. So say you just had a really bad day at work, get in, and I've written stuff that's like 3-4 pages long on a Word document, and then it will spit out one advert from little snippets of all of it. But because it was written when I was in that emotional state, it resonates with people like that. Whereas if you sit down and go, right, I'm going to write this advert for people that are feeling bad on a Monday morning, I think that's really difficult to do. You have to just get in what everyone talks about, that flow state. Yeah. And the only way to do that is to sit, not distracted, and just write.
Yeah, I agree with that, Josh. I mean, when I had bad days at work, that is literally when I wrote my best ads, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. Even like a bad Friday, and I'd have a drink just after in the house, and then scribble down notes for an ad. And to be honest, they were my best performing ads, because it's like coming from inside, isn't it? And it's really getting the emotional side, and by that then you then get, like you say, the emotional sort of link with people that are clicking on your ads, reading your ads, and following through to Project Q1.
Yes, CEO movement. And also as well, that the bit where you say sleep on it, I saw a thing once that was like, if you think an advert is finished or you think work's finished, leave it, come back and spend another 2 hours on it. And I know that's like a lot of time, and I'm not saying anyone has to do that. But if you plan your week, so you've got 10 hours a week, if you're just starting in the CEO movement, is what we advise, you can definitely find that 2 hours extra to work on stuff you've already done. Say like on a Monday, you write all down for an hour, and then you come back Wednesday night and look at the same stuff and add that extra 2 hours could be the difference between an award-winning ad and an ad that's just nearly there. So that tiny little bit, that final 5% that could be the real difference, will come from that additional 2 hours. So find the time, plan it in your 10-hour week, and it really will make the difference, because you'll come back and be like, oh my God, what was I even talking about? Or this can change, you know?
Yeah, definitely, Josh. And I know, I think it was just yesterday, actually, I spoke with Neil Burrows, I believe his surname is, on the 30-day fast track call. And he kind of expressed that he had a period of time where he'd post an ad and then he'd take it back down to like change up the headline or add a bit into the copy, or he'd see a different picture that he liked. And he went through a period of time where he kept doing that and making small little changes. Whereas perhaps, obviously, Neil, we haven't spoke about it, but I'm just going to use it as an example. But if you'd had a sleep on it and maybe come back to it, you might have had those ideas then, and you wouldn't have had to keep kind of posting the ad, pulling the ad, posting the ad, pulling the ad. You would have perhaps been able to just kind of get those ideas out on paper then. But yeah, guys, definitely, if you haven't got a pen and paper with you at the moment, if you haven't wrote these down, take a picture now. They're great steps to kind of help you in the writing process and to help you get those ads written. So I will leave that up just for a minute for you guys to take a photo, take a screenshot, do whatever you need to do. Write it down.
About the challenge that we set last week, we do have a winner, but I think I'll do that as a live video tomorrow in the group, maybe, because we've run over as it is and I don't want to rush through it. So is that good? Does that work? Yeah, sweet. So don't worry, you've not been forgotten. I've got a whole little presentation and I got an awards ceremony planned.
Bloody hell, mate.
I've got a little podium set up.
A little podium? Have you got like some little virtual reality thing where you can like beam people into it?
Maybe I have, Lilybeth, maybe I haven't. We'll see for tomorrow. But I'll do that. I don't know what a good time is on a Thursday, probably like 6 o'clock UK time. Otherwise everyone will be at work. But yeah, cool. Some really good go lives as well. I'll just leave it there. So. Cool.
Good competition. Right, guys, is anybody still writing these down? I have no response, so I'm going to jump out the screen share now. If you guys want, the recording will be up tomorrow anyway. And Grant, are you still outside? It got very dark.
Yeah, I thought I'd stick it out. It's still pretty warm where I am, so I'm still loving it. I'm going to crack on and carry on doing some work. So.
Oh, bless you. I just like come off the screen share and it was pitch black behind you. I was like, what?
Yeah, I thought it's nice.
Right, guys, any questions at all? They will go silent and ignore me, but it's all right. I'll let you off.
No questions.
Oh, no questions. James, you know, I totally thought you had a question then. I was like, yes!
Oh, sorry,
and then
mate.
I realised that you were saying no questions.
I've taken lots of notes.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Is there any more wins? Because I like to hear people's wins.
Anyone? Any more for any more?
I've been getting quite a lot of interaction in my most recent ad that I've had. I don't know if you guys have all seen it. It's I think it's the one that's like a night scene. I got it from what's it called? Unsplash. So I don't know. I mean, it looks a bit like Amsterdam to me. So I was like, oh, I like that. So I'm getting literally like probably about, I don't know, like 6 comments or something. It seems a day at the moment.
Oh,
like,
wow.
you know, the more info comments. And that's probably like the best I've had from like any of my ads. And I think really just kind of, I've got to this point because I just thought, you know what, I'm going to leave it and I'm going to see what happens. And I mean, luckily the cost per lead has been quite low. It hasn't really gone above like 250 or something. But there were times when there wasn't very much going on and I was like, should I shut it off? But no, I'm just going to leave it go. And like literally just getting so much interaction with it at the moment. So that's like a massive win for me.
Oh, that's really, really good. Who are you targeting at the moment, Hun?
So I'm targeting, and I have been targeting for quite some time. I'm targeting law of attraction, entrepreneurship, and travel. But I'm putting law of attraction and entrepreneurship in the main body and then narrowing it down to with travel. So it could be either one of those, but having the interest of travel as well.
Very interesting.
That sounds really good.
Yeah, it does.
I think the law of attraction is a really untapped category to target because, well, if you're reading about the law of attraction and you're looking for something, oh, look, it's here on my timeline.
I know exactly the amount of people that I'm messaging and I'm like chatting to them like in my inbox on my fan page, and they are saying I had the worst day ever, and then I saw your ad, and I've literally been saying, oh look, that's the law of attraction in force.
Yeah. Also, Camilla, if you're doing law of attraction, try using sentences out of books as headlines or in the first line of your copy. Because
I hadn't thought of that.
People like to read or like to think they're an authority. So if they go, oh, I know about that, and then they read it, and before you know it, you're going to get loads of click-throughs. So, and some of the
amazing tip.
Yeah, if you highlight in a book and you think, well, that's a good quote, try it as a headline or try it in the first line of your copy, and then you can write the whole ad as if you are reading from the book. And then at the end, when the call to action is like, join this webinar, they'll be like, well, that's the exact emotions that they're going through. But think about their emotions, honestly.
Yeah, I think I probably need to focus on that a little bit more. But that's an amazing tip, because I think that kind of thing, because I'm massive with like the law of attraction and all those kind of things. If I saw something that I'd read, like you say, I'd just be like, oh my God, I need to read more of this.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely, I'm going to try that.
That's awesome. That's what I'm trying to do at the moment, is try and really relate more to the audience that I'm trying to look for. Because at the start, I was like, I tried builders, and like I've done building, but most builders that are going to come through aren't going to be my age. They're all going to be 50 years of old, and they'll probably know more about tax insurance and entrepreneurialism than I do. Do you know what I mean? So I'm trying to find that niche audience at the moment. And I think that's awesome with the law of attraction. Like he said, it's going to be, I've just found it. It came out of nowhere because I've been thinking about it. So,
yeah.
Which I do believe in law of attraction as well. I believe it's more about rewiring your brain than magic. You know what I mean? We are all connected. I mean, look at this community.
Oh, yeah, no, exactly.
Amen, brother.
Preach outside to the moon, my friend.
Right, guys. Anything else?
Yeah, my mum's looking at me like I'm a right freak out the window.
Hi, Mum.
Hey, Mum.
Right, ladies and gents, if that's all, we'll leave it there for tonight. I'm going to go grab a brew. See you guys later.
See you later. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.